Monsters vs. Heroes Volume 2, the Cthulhu Mythos. And if you know me, you know that I have to play every Cthulhu-themed game out there. It is the law. This is the Volume 2. It is the second installment in the Monsters vs. Heroes system. We had Victorian Nightmares, and now we have games inspired by the nightmares of H.P. Lovecraft. And those are the nightmares that keep giving. We're still having them because they're so powerful. They just resonate so deeply with the archetypes of the human psyche. Now, the two sets are fully compatible. Each set comes with 2 decks of cards, and each set can be played using the 2 decks of cards separately or mixed together. Each set of cards pretty much accommodates up to 4 players. So if you have 8 players, you could play 2 parallel games, 4 with a deck and 4 with another deck, and the decks are different from one another, or you can shuffle them all in, but I have to tell you, we tried that with 8 players, and we did not like that at all. It feels too chaotic. There are synergies and interactions within each deck which are pretty fun to discover and to exploit, but they're completely lost in the total chaos of 2 decks together. And again, the idea is that also you could mix and match any of these, one deck from here with a deck from here, shuffling together. I simply, in my group, the idea of mixing 2 decks together doesn't matter. Now, basically, I have 4 decks. We can accommodate up to 16 players playing at the same time, but it will be 4 parallel games, each around one of the decks. That's just how we prefer to play it. Now, here we have 2 decks, and they are themed after famous stories by the great H.P. One is The Shadow over Innsmouth, and the other one is The Mountains of Madness. Each deck is formed by a main deck of cards that will be used during gameplay, and then identity cards. At the beginning of the game, you shuffle these and you give them to the players randomly, face down, and they look at them, and that represents their secret identity. Some players will be monsters, some players will be heroes. Also, each player has on their card the identity of 2 characters. If those 2 characters are in the player's play area at the end of the game, then the player scores that many victory points for each character there. Basically, during the game, you will play cards and you will try to get the cards with the skull to be in your play area in front of you at the end of the game, because they will score your victory points. At the end of the game, if you are a monster, if it is revealed in your card that you're a monster, then each skull in your play area will be worth a victory point, and each sun symbol will be a penalty of -1. If you're a hero, each sun is 1 point, each skull is -1. So if this is my situation at the end of the game and I'm revealed to be a hero, alas, my score present is -2. Not exciting. The game is extremely simple. You start with a hand of 3 cards from your deck, and during each turn you will either draw a new card or play a card. When you play a card, usually you play it in front of you and whatever, or somewhere else if that's what the card tells you. But in any case, you will always resolve all of the effects indicated on the card at the best of your possibility. So I can move this card to another player's area. Doesn't have a US soldier. This is Innsmouth, so actually sort of like the sequel when the US army is already there trying to clean up the mess. And or maybe you're an investigator of the occult and you can do that, or you are using Mother Hydra and then these is the things that happen. The idea is that there will be cards that will interact with other cards, allowing you to move things around, discard, pick up. You're trying to manipulate things around the table. Also, of course, you're trying to figure out what everybody's secret identity is, because if you're a hero, then I don't want to use my game effects to put a lot of sun symbols in front of you. But if you're a monster, that's precisely what I want to do. So actually, to me, it's partially a game about the interactions of the card effects, say like in Love Letter, but it is so much a bluffing game, because exploiting interactions without any idea of what the opponent's trying to do, then that makes no sense. So the game is extremely simple. Again, each turn you play a card or you draw a card, not both. Continue like this until the last card is drawn. At that point, players reveal their identity cards and you count victory points based on who they are, so which symbol are bonus points, or which symbols are positive points and which symbols are negative points, plus possible bonuses from controlling certain characters at the end of the game. Play with the most points wins the game. Monsters vs. Heroes Cthulhu Mythos. I liked it. To me, it's not just the theme, and I may be biased because anything that has the green tentacled guy on the cover, to me, already starts in a position of advantage. I may be biased there, but I actually enjoyed it because it seemed to me the kind of light, simple game. Mechanically, it reminded me a little bit of Love Letter, when you have a very small hand of cards, unique cards with a lot of different interactions, and you're playing around those effects. The first game or two is just not just to learn what the cards do, but what they really do, meaning what they do in interaction with the other cards, and then you're actually starting to play the game. And I like that. I like the fact that it's basically a bluffing game, just like Love Letter also is, with not many choices because your hands of cards are so small, but with interesting ones. And it's all about the bluffing. And in a certain sense, the bluffing is almost more important than card play, because if everybody gangs up against you, trying to destroy you, but you misled them as to who you are, then they're gonna give you a great advantage. On the other hand, if you just deprive somebody of cards, that's a pretty much fail-safe way of ensuring that they're not gonna score at all. So there is that element. So I enjoyed it because it's simple, it's fast, it has a really nice pace. Little recommendation when you play, it's a small thing, but make sure to tell people when they are drawing a card that they say so. I'm drawing a card, because when everybody's playing, is looking at their cards, and somebody's turn can be that they draw a card, and after a while, like, wait a second, what's happening? Why is no one playing? And it happened that somebody drew a card as their turn, and the next player and everybody else did not realize it, and we found that to be a stumble during the pace. And just, I drew a card, next player, and for when somebody plays a card, it's obvious that they took their turn and the game is moving on. When he moves away, it's nice. There is a strong element of randomness. Yes, it's great to score those characters on your secret identity card, but sometimes you just never see them. You never have any opportunity of getting them because of the way other people have discarded them, moved them around, or otherwise use them for their own scheme, or simply because of the way the interactions work. So that's an element that's a little bit disappointing, because that is it can be a big chunk of your scoring, and you may end up getting it or missing it for no fault, or really for no great planning of yours. But the game is so short, like Love Letters, if you find that it didn't work, through your plans, of course too much, then you play it again. I enjoyed as a simple warm-up game, as a simple filler, mind you, nothing too spectacular. But I would be remiss if I didn't say that this game has had a vastly controversial reception in my group. I'm probably the person who likes it the most, so I had to tell you that. And to the point that I've been accused of trying to sell it too hard, but you know me, I just express my ideas. If I like it, I'm gonna tell you. And I'm passionate about my ideas, and I'm gonna tell them all to you, maybe before you even get too many chances of adding your perspective, because I love you and I want you to know my ideas. That's what I do. But other people didn't seem to enjoy nearly as much. Some found it too chaotic, too random, some found it too light, and then some people liked it almost as much as I did. I played it once with 3 players, they loved it. Then we played the large game with the decks together, everybody hated it. Then we played smaller groups, and again, I was by far the person who enjoyed it the most, and other people were like between, oh, it's a pretty good game, to meh, to, oh, I'm never gonna play this again. I don't know how to articulate that. I can only explain my opinions, and I can document other people's reactions. So simply from my experience, I can tell you that this is not for everybody, because it had received a lot of negative of negative welcoming. Well, it's the opposite of welcoming. A negative. Okay, I'm stuck. I can't remember. You know what I mean. The negative whatever that players give to games that they don't like. So, I guess the madness of madness is affecting me, and that's why I can't remember the words. Monsters vs. Heroes Cthulhu Mythos. I personally liked it. A lot of other people didn't. And this is the only assessment I can share with you.